Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our podcast.
Today we're looking at another Pixar movie, Ratatouille.
Rat-a-tat-tat.
Right.
The movie follows Remy, a rodent, living underneath Paris and dreams of becoming a chef. But with restaurants now allowing rats in the kitchen, I wonder why, he forms an unlikely friendship with a human who helps him achieve his dream.
Yeah,
It was so out of left field.
Yeah, it's like something I never thought someone would make a movie out of.
And that it would be successful. But it
right.
was. And it works.
Right.
Somehow it absolutely works.
Right, and I will tell you, Mama did not watch this movie at first because of the subject matter and the creatures featuring it. Like, Ma, it's anime. Now, if it were live action, I could completely understand. I probably wouldn't have watched that, but it was animated. It weren't real, but it was just like the idea of that is like horrible. So, and she didn't watch it for a while, but then she did watch it. Oh, actually, it's really good. I still would not want to see this in live, but it was still a good movie.
It was. It was fun, and again, has some lessons built in. And this was one of Rascal's favorite movies for quite a long time. She even had the video game on one of the systems.
Yeah, I actually still have it to
Which one
this
is
day.
that?
The
Which
video
system?
game on the PS2.
Yeah.
I still have that game to this day.
Yes. So it turned out to be much more than I imagined it would be. It was very creative. And as you can tell, no one's made a movie like this since in Hollywood.
Right.
And I don't think now this would even get a green light. There's no way this movie would be made.
No, the close they had is that a company in Brazil who specializes in making knockoffs, they tried to do a movie to rip off Ratatouille and compete at the same time. Disney was going to sue, and they're like, this isn't even worth it because the movie's like just total garbage. Mm-hmm. It's called Ratatouille. But they didn't know what the movie was about, so it was like, yeah, it's just, yeah. So they didn't bother, not to worry, because Ratatouille did do very well.
Right. And I didn't know until recently that Patton Oswalt was Remy, because I didn't know who he was back then. In total honesty, I had no idea who he was. But I did know who a few people were, like Brian Dennehy. I was surprised that he was in it. Peter O'Toole, of course, absolutely fabulous, wonderful British actor.
There's Ego, yeah, I know that to be like a pretty favorite character for this movie. Yeah.
And Janine Garofalo was a really huge actress who did a lot of comedies during that time. Will Arnett, he was nowhere near the fame he is now, so it's interesting hearing him, I should say, in this movie. John Ratzenberger was really huge from, I think, Cheers he was on.
Yes,
and
I've seen him in a lot of stuff.
And Brad Garrett, who later went on to fame through Everybody Loves Raymond. He played his brother. So it was interesting seeing the cast that filled out the roster for this movie and where they are now, the ones who are still alive and acting.
Right. And
where they were during this movie. And everyone was fabulous. The voice acting cast was absolutely fabulous.
And I knew Patton Oswalt, like, in later roles, because I recognize his voice. It's very distinct. So this was the first movie I saw him in.
And don't forget Edna Mode was in here.
Oh, yes, Brad Bird.
And Mr. Minion.
And I've heard Patton Oswalt, years later on different shows and stuff, and I would hear him like, oh, that's him. That's the mouse from the movie. And that was the first time I heard him. So anytime I heard him in future projects, I would think of Ratatouille until he got to be Bear Bears, and now he's got Nom Nom, the celebrity koala.
So, if you can remember back when you were younger, what made this movie so appealing for you? What were the aspects that made it such a fun watch for you that you watched it a multitude of times?
Right. As you know, Pixar always had this great talent of making every movie very fun, enjoyable, creative, things that hadn't been done before, and doing very standout movies. And I know recently people have been saying, have they kind of lost their touch after The Good Dinosaur and Pick and Brave and other movies? Like, are they starting to lose that?
I want to say everyone's allowed a mistake. Their mistake was The Good Dinosaur.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
Other than that, I think Pixar has been doing a great job.
And for Ratatouille, like I said, it was a great concept. And for me, when I was little, it was just really, really funny to watch. And it looked fun. I said I love playing the game. It was very interactive and it's just as much as the movie. And it was just fun seeing all these little things happen, how he was controlling him with his hair, like move parts of his hair, control his body. Someone said that is not even physically possible. Science does not say that's possible, but in this movie it is, and that's how he was cooking without touching the food. He was cooking through the guy and controlling his hands and stuff, so he wasn't touching the food. And the way they had sitting around it, having him cook, and he was this brilliant chef, and people were thinking it was this guy, and he don't know how to cook. And they're like, who is this chef? Like, his food is like the best. He was like probably almost Soma level cooking, and they had no idea it was a rat cooking all the food, because if they did, they probably run out the door. Right. And then they had, of course, with the colony he was in, he was the only one that had this sort of gift of having, I guess it was like a human nose. He could smell everything. He knew what combinations would taste great, what had aroma, what was past due date, what was poison, what wasn't. He was basically just used to know what wasn't laced with poison for the rats, and that was it. But you knew he had more of a talent to him for food. It wasn't just the standard, quote-unquote, stereotype of mice.
Right. And I also know that in a similar vein, I know it was live action and the mouse was digitized and so forth, but it was Mouse Hunt.
Yes.
You really love that movie too,
with Nathan Lane. Yes, yeah. I loved Mouse Hunt. It's one of my favorite movies growing up.
So yeah, this movie actually ended up being fun, and I think it's something that really sticks out for Pixar as being, as I say, unique. And this is something that just wouldn't get made now. No one would green like this. A rat in the kitchen being a chef.
Right, because of how
just the different landscape that it is now, it wouldn't get made. So this is really a movie that is like a time capsule in terms of when ideas were a little more free-flowing and things that were different were allowed a chance of being made in the movies.
Right.
In the same vein as Tim Burton doing Nightmare
Before Christmas
and so forth. I would put that in the same category as movies now that possibly wouldn't get made, or that they so commonplace they don't stand out.
Right.
But when they were made, it was like, wow, this is something that's really new and hasn't been done. Will it work? And it works.
Right, and you can definitely tell a lot of times the movie's been referenced even in other countries, whether it's by ripoff or just by having a mouse cook in the kitchen. Like, you automatically know it's this movie. You can't mistake it for anything else or wonder, hey, what's that movie, unless you haven't seen it. That's how much the movie stands out on its own, both in its idea and its plot and its story, its characters. But just having mouse in the kitchen, if you know the movie, you're not thinking, oh, okay, shut down this place. You're either thinking that, or you're thinking of this movie, and you get
rat,
the joke.
Not mouse, rat. Yeah, Ratatouille.
I just say mouse. They're all the same.
And I will say, before that movie, I had no idea what Ratatouille was. So I actually
learned
what a Ratatouille dish was from the movie.
Right, and it's like, yes, it's an actual dish that people actually ended up trying after the movie came out, because it was considered a peasant dish at the time it was made, and then it became a high-end meal at these 5-star restaurants.
Right. And also, I like to say what's really interesting is Brad Bird, part of the group that wrote the screenplay, directed it, and acted in it. It was like The Incredibles again for him.
Right. And he's a very talented man when it comes to the movies he works on, because they're all just masterpieces.
Right. So, this is over 10 years old now.
Yes.
And I think it's still pretty popular.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's not on the rampage like there's a lot of other movies from Pixar and stuff, but it still has a fan base for people that really enjoyed it.
As I said, it's really memorable. It's unique, one of a kind. And yeah, anybody doing anything like this now, it would just be a ripoff. You would see it that way. Even if it had a whole different arc or a different storyline, all you would think is Ratatouille, because it has really taken its place in history of animation as being something that stuck out as being unique when it was made.
Right. So if you have seen Ratatouille, please let us know what you thought of it when you saw it in theaters or on DVD or whenever. We definitely want to hear what you think of it.
And did you play the game as Rascal did at any time? Let us know too in the comments below.
Right. So thank you so much for watching. I'm Ask Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.
And reporters sitting flashing lights, trying to walk around, man, who the hell are you? mountaintops, rivers, and streams. Plucking sunlight from the sky in my pocket, giving